Welcome back, my students in grade 5. Today we are going to talk about lesson 3 in unit 3. The title of our unit, as we said before, weather and climate. Climate is what we expect, but weather is what we get. Here we have some new vocabulary. The first word we have is dust storm. Dust storm. Dust storm. For example, dust storms usually happen in deserts. Dust storms usually happen in deserts. Dust storm. Put on. Put on. You should put on the car brake. You should put on the car brake. Put on. The next word we have is turn on. Turn on. For example, you should turn on the car lights. You should turn on the car lights. Department. Department. The next word is department. There are many shopping departments at this mall. There are many shopping departments at this mall. Departments. The next word we have is mass media. Mass media. Again, mass media. For example, newspaper, radio, magazines, the internet, and television are examples of mass media. Again, newspaper, radio, magazines, the internet, and television are examples of mass media. Another example, the accident is widely covered by mass media. The accident is widely by mass media. The next one is system. System. Solar system. For example, we studied the solar system. System of the sun and planets in science. We studied the solar system of the sun and planets in science. We studied the solar system of the sun and planets in science. Sound system. System. He found the sound system and turned it on. He found the sound system and turned it on. System. Predict. 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 Scientists predict what the weather be in the next days. Scientists predict what the weather be next days. Predict. Atmosphere. Atmosphere. This is atmosphere. For example, the planets have different atmospheres. The planets have different atmospheres. Let's listen to the following recording and get some information to answer about or to answer some questions. Let's listen carefully.
Grade 5, Unit 3, Weather and Climate, page 45. Listen to the recording about keeping safe in a dust storm and take notes, then share them with your class.
Like snowstorms, dust storms can be very dangerous. If you are walking outside when a dust storm arrives, you should cover your nose and mouth with a scarf or a cloth. Go inside quickly. A dust storm usually arrives suddenly. It makes driving very dangerous. If you are driving when a dust storm starts, you should never leave the car on the road. Move it off the road. Put on the car brake. Turn on the car lights. Stay inside the car and wait for the storm to stop.
After we listen to the recording, let's answer these questions. Words I heard from the recording, they are dangerous, cover, clothes. Facts I learned: dust storms arrive suddenly. Dust storms arrive suddenly. Questions I still have: can weather forecast predict dust storms? Can weather forecast predict dust storms? Now we have a grammar rule. We have a grammar rule about should and shouldn't. Okay? You should. We use should to give advice. To give advice. You must add the verb after should in infinitive form. So we use should to give advice, and we must use the verb after should in infinitive form. For example, you should study well for the exam. You should, the basic form of the infinitive, you must say you should study, you should play, you should go. And you can't say, or you mustn't say, you shouldn't, or you should to go, you should to study. This is incorrect. You can say you should go, you should wait, okay, and so on. For example, you should study hard for the exam. He should play very well to win the match. He should train well to win the competition, and so on. Look at these pictures, please. Look at these pictures, please. Canada in winter. You should have warm things in your car. You should have warm things in your car. Blanket, hot coffee, and so on. What should you do in a dust storm? What should you do in a dust storm? You should go home quickly. You should cover your nose with a scarf or a cloth. You should cover your nose with a scarf or a cloth. Here, driving is dangerous in a dust storm. Driving is dangerous in a dust storm. You shouldn't leave the car on the road. You shouldn't leave the car on the road. When the weather is dangerous, you shouldn't leave the car on the road. So you can say you should, and the negative of should is you shouldn't. You should play well. You shouldn't smoke. You shouldn't drink fizzy drinks. You should run. You should study. You should eat healthy food, and you shouldn't eat fast food, and so on. So we use should or shouldn't to give advices. Here, look at the pictures below and advise people about what they should or shouldn't do in a dust storm. You should cover your nose and mouth with a cloth. You shouldn't leave the car on the road. You should go home quickly. You should put on the car brake. You shouldn't drive in a dust storm. You should turn on the car lights. You should turn on the car lights. Here in this page, read the passage, then choose the correct answer below. Kuwait Meteorological Department was built in 1953. It has 27 stations to give information about the weather in Kuwait to mass media, like TVs, radios, and other apps. The department works around the clock to predict the weather. It tells people how hot or cold the weather will be for 5 days, the direction of the wind, and the condition of clouds and rains. The department works hard through different systems to study everything about the atmosphere. It provides 5-day weather and marine forecast twice a day for improve the safety of people's lives. For improving the safety of people's lives. Sailors, pilots, and farmers need to know about the weather to plan their activities and duties. Everyone should know about the weather so they can wear the right clothing and won't get hurt in bad or dangerous weather. By calling the free automated telephone service 104, one can get more information about the weather. One can get more information about the weather. The best title for the passage is Meteorological Department. Number 2, what does the underlined phrase around the clock mean? 24 hours. Here we have some questions to answer. Number 1, what does the meteorological department do? What does the meteorological department do? It gives information about weather in Kuwait to mass media. It gives information about weather in Kuwait to mass media. Why is it important for people to know about the weather forecast? People should know the weather forecast to keep safe. People should know the weather forecast to keep safe. Thank you, my students. Thank you, and see you in the next time. Goodbye.